Very good morning. Today we are going to see a little more upgradation. Last two classes we have seen what is transformation matrix and what is robot kinematics. This class we will go little ahead where the transformation matrix, one of the specific you can say entity we call rotation matrix. We'll see what are the you can say different aspect of rotation matrix and how the composite or we call compound rotations will be coming. In the sense when you are seeing in three-dimensional space, so where you can see like the position easily written in terms of three you can say scalar value in terms of a vector x, y, z. However, the three orientation you need to combine. So in the sense you have to come with a compound rotation. So we will see how the rotation matrix involved as a compound rotation. So in order to understand that, we will first recap on rotation matrix, and then we will see like how the compound rotation would be coming into a picture. There are several representation. We'll see few of them, and then we will see how we can go ahead with that. Okay. So with that, I'm actually like move forward. So we'll actually like see that this particular lecture also like similar. So the material sometime actually like it would be coming from outside resources. So I am just giving this disclaimer. So we'll move forward. So this particular course, or you can say this particular lecture, I said we will be talking about what is you call transformation matrix, and then we will see one of the specific entity called rotation matrix, and then we will talk about more detail about compound or composite rotation. In the sense, so the orientations. So whatever you call the orientations, that orientation how we can actually like write in terms of a single matrix. So you know that positions, so positions you can easily write as a single vector, okay, but this orientation which are actually like three orientation that need to be written as a 3 cross 3 as a rotation matrix. How this will come into a picture, that is what we are going to see in this detailed lecture. So we'll go one by one. We will actually like recap what is the mapping you can say involving translated and rotated frame. So we can actually like take, in fact this we have discussed even yesterday discussion class, but I want to make it more you can say clarity. Okay. So you can see that the frame A, or you can say the fixed frame we can call, this is actually like located A where there are three unit vectors associated, which is what you call coordinate frame. So now we assume that there is a body which is actually like a B, we are denoting frame. This B is having a different orientation with respect to A, and as well as it is translated with respect to A. So now in order to have the relation between B to A or A to B, so you need two information, right? One is actually like the positional information, the other one is rotational information. So this is what we are actually like calling, combining these two in terms of a single matrix. That is what we call transformation matrix. How that has come, that we will see. So in the sense you can see that this is what the positional information that you can write as a simple 3 cross 1 vector. So now the further thing is actually the rotation matrix you can write as a 3 cross 3. So these two aspect we know already, right? So now what we are actually like looking up, so can I actually like combine this into a single entity, where this is one entity and this is actually like another entity, but this I am combining as a simple transformation matrix. Yeah, that is what my interest. We'll see that how it can be done. You can see now I am bringing a point Q. So where the Q is actually like one of the point which is clearly described with respect to B frame. So in the sense the position of the Q is known with respect to B. Can I get the same positional information with respect to A if I know the orientation and the you call positional information? So this is what we have done in the last two classes. So we'll go further. You can see that this is what I wanted, and this is known, this is known, and this is known. So in the sense I am actually like going the Q via you can say B. I agree, right? So now what we can see how we can do. So this is what the case. So the first one is actually like I am transferring this information to A frame, because this rotation matrix involved, because the Q, even though it is a Cartesian coordinate, but this you can say Q vector with respect to B is associated with this arrangement, right? So I need to make this arrangement into this frame, so I am rotating it. So that is first one. So now this particular information you will be you can say rotate with respect to A. In the sense you are transferring this particular segment into a case. So then what you are doing actually, like you see that the B frame and A frame is distance apart that you are adding. So in the sense, physically what you can do, first you are bringing this B to A, in the sense this entire set you are actually like bringing to A with respect to B and A coincide. So now what happened? So this operation is done. So after that you can see that the Q information with respect to B is known, that you are actually like orient, or in the sense you are transferring that information with the help of rotation matrix. This all we agree. Now what we can see? So this is what we have got, but I am actually like combining these two into a single matrix like this. So then you can see that there is one additional factor is coming, which is I call here simple as scalar, which is 1. So in the sense I did not change, I actually like taken out this out, and I actually like make it as actually like rotation matrix and the orientation vector as a matrix. In the sense here it is actually like you can say 3 cross 4. So since this is actually like only 3 cross 1, I am adding one dimension which is additional. Now you can see that it is 4 cross 1, but the final one, which is what we wanted, 3 cross 1, right? But this is a rectangular form. I am not really, you can say, keen, or you can say any of them who are really keen on matrix algebra, definitely the rectangular matrix is not user friendly. So then what we are doing, we are actually like upgrading how we have upgraded as a dimension here. So can we upgrade this into actually like instead of 3 cross 3 or 3 cross 1 or even 3 cross 4, can I actually like make it 4 cross 4? So this is what we are calling as a transformation matrix. If you see, so this is what we call transformation matrix, where it is an operator which maps one frame to another frame in a matrix form. So what it is giving additionally, it is giving a compact equation as well as conceptually clear. What I said, so you have information A and B, you are making as a box. Now you have another frame C, you can make another box. Now this box will be consist of the transformation information of C with respect to B. This box will be having transformation matrix of A with respect to, B with respect to A. Like that it is actually like keep going, right? So now you can go even little forward, you can see. So this is what we wanted. So I am actually like adding the dimension everywhere, you can see. So now what happened, the positional information I am not changing, rotational information I am not changing. What I am changing, whatever I want to as a external, for example the position of Q, I am actually like seeing that there is one additional dimension I am bringing it. So what that mean, I am actually like having a position vector instead of 3 cross 1, I am actually like adding as 4 cross 1. In the sense I am adding 1 in the end. So now you can see that this is one compact form where it is actually like 4 cross 4. So for that what I am adding actually like 1, you can say 0 row I am adding, and as well as 1 scalar I am adding. So in the sense this I can call as actually like position vector, and this is a reformed rotation matrix. So now you can see this is in a general form. So in the general form what I can write, so this is the transformation matrix I am brought it. So what general form I want to say, you can see this way. This we have already seen, this is the perspective vector and this is the scaling factor, and this is what your positional information of B with respect to A, the rotational information of B with respect to A. Now this all combined I am saying as the transformation matrix. Now this perspective will come how you are viewing, you can say B frame with respect to A, and how actually like you are measuring the positional information of B with respect to A, whether you are doing some scaling or not. That is what we are doing. So we are all clear with the transformation matrix. We will go further. So for further I am just bringing the rotation matrix here. So you can see that the frame A, which is I call, you can say one of the fixed coordinate frame. Now there is a body which is actually like I call B frame. This B frame is having, you can say, a different orientation. Just to get understand, I am actually like showing that the B frame is just rotated about X. Then what would be the rotation matrix? This is what my interest here. So in the sense you can see XB would be on the same line of XA. Now about, you can see this, I am rotating some angle called, you can say, phi. So now what happened, this Y will be getting changed and X will be getting changed. This I call YB vector and this is ZB vector, right? So this is what we are doing it, and now what happened, this angle I call phi and this angle I call phi, and we can use a projection of vector and you can get, you can see this is what happening and you can get that what you wanted. So now this is the rotation matrix, but here what happened, it is only one rotation about X, the angle is phi. So I can write this into a 3, you can say, vector, which is I call unit vector and this is orthonormal. I said the vector of xb projected on A frame. So in the sense you can see this is projected on x a1 and there is no projection on y and z. And similarly I am projecting yb on A frame. Obviously there is no projection on, you can say, x axis, but the y axis you can see that is a cos phi, and y axis it is actually like projected as, in this case, z axis, that is sin phi. Similarly I am projecting zb on A frame. The x axis there is no projection, but the y axis you can see this is projected at like this, so which is actually like giving minus sin psi, sorry, phi, and you can see this is projection that is a cos phi, right. So now this is what you call rotation matrix of, you can say, phi with respect to x. This is what happening, right. So similar way I can actually like go further. So what I can see, like I am taking a frame as usual and B frame as usual, but now instead of actually like rotating about x, I am rotating about y, in the sense my yb is aligned with x, sorry, ya. So yb is aligned with ya. Now I am rotating this x and y like this. So in the sense this goes like this goes here, right. So this is what actually like happening now. This is what the theta orientation. So but you can see this is very difficult to understand because this is an isometric view. In order to make it very clear, I am actually like taking a right hand rule and I am putting in a same form what we have seen earlier. In the sense I brought it to y here, so now ya and yb are aligned. Now you can see as per the right hand rule, so y z a would be there. So now I am rotating this in a right hand rule. So in the sense counterclockwise I am rotating. So in the sense yb will be coming, sorry, zb cap will be coming and xb cap is coming here. So where this angle I call theta, right. So that is what I am doing it here. You can see this is what I am doing it. Now the same way what I did earlier, I can do the projection and I will get the, you can say, rotation matrix, right. The same sense I can actually go forward with the z axis rotation, and you can see that I am taking, this is the rotation axis. Now this will be happening here. So that is what actually like I am showing. Since the view is not really clear, so I am bringing it in the same way what we did earlier. So in the sense I am bringing z axis here, in the sense it is pointing outward of this iPad and it is coming outward of the iPad, and this x and y is actually like aligned with right and upward direction of the iPad. So in the sense you can see that now I am trying to rotate ZB cap with respect to ZB cap. Now it is actually like rotating like this. So this angle I call psi. So the same way I can use the you can say the orthonormal vector, or you can say direction cosine, and then I will get this, right. So these all actually like very clear. So now it is actually like very straightforward. You can understand if it is actually like one orientation, or you could say one rotation about any one of the axis, you know what happening, right. The sense you can see this is one and the other one, you got it, all those three axes you have done. But what happening in a rigid body, the rigid body orientation, for example, I assume that there is a body, I assume that this is the body which is actually like in the three-dimensional space. This is the frame which I call, so this is actually like x body and this is y body and this is z body, and I assume that this is what you call your A frame. I want to represent this all three, you can say, orientation in terms of, you can say, a simple matrix in order to get the information of B frame with respect to A. So now you can see that what happening, there are at least, you can see, three orientational information is required. That three orientation information usually we can write as a simple orientation, in the sense of what we are getting. So three orientations are there, in the sense you cannot do that single stretch. So in the sense what you can do, you have to rotate this body, in the sense, so you assume that the body is actually like this, okay. So now the A and B are actually coincide, but you want to rotate, in the sense you will do a step by step. So that is what we are doing, in the sense you are doing actually like one rotation, then you are getting a matrix, then second rotation, then you are getting matrix, and you are doing a transformation, then the third you can say rotation and doing a transformation. In the sense you can see that the transformation is actually like going 1 to 3 in a stage by stage. Now further you can see that the rotation also like can be rotated about two way. What two way? So you can actually like rotate about the fixed axis, or you can rotate about the moving axis. In the sense, first you are actually like assigning with A and B are coincide, and you are rotating about, you can say, A first, then you have a new frame. So now the second orientation or second rotation is about the fixed frame or about the moved frame, right? So in the sense, new body frame. So if that is the case, you can have a two broad category. One is about the fixed angle, in the sense the rotation about the fixed frame, or rotation about the moving frame. The rotation about the fixed frame, one of the big category we got it, and even there are several sequence. One of the main sequence what we follow is actually like we follow a very systematic way. We will rotate about x, rotate about y, rotate about z of the fixed frame. So this is what we call roll, pitch and yaw, where x axis rotation we call rolling, y axis rotation we call pitching, and z axis rotation we call yawing. Okay, so in the sense you are doing actually like roll, pitch, yaw. So some people call it is RPY angle or roll, pitch, yaw angle. This particular angle representation some of the European researcher call Winkel angle, because the Winkel has given a detailed derivation of this, so it is called the Winkel angles. So this is one case. Whereas the moving, or you can say moved frame, the angle representation with respect to moved frame, or you can say moving frame, that is actually like given by you call Euler. There are 12, you can say, notations have given, in the sense 12 different way we can actually like do it. But even then we are following certain specific manner. So one of the specific manner we call rotate about z, which is moved frame, or you can say moving frame, then moved frame y and x. So this is one particular sequence, z, y, x. This is what we call one of the Euler angles called z, y, x. But this particular angle gave by different researcher called Cardan. So this is called Cardan angle. Even this Cardan and Bryant, or you can say Bryant is another guy who was given. So this particular angle, the z, y, x, people call Cardan or Bryant angle, or simply Euler angle, because Euler gave all 12 possible, you can say, notation. So people call even Euler angle. Then what is really Euler has prescribed is z, y, z. Okay, so in the sense, z axis of a moved frame rotated first, then you can say y axis of the moved frame second, and again z axis rotation of z, you can say, third moved frame. Okay, so this is one of the common way the Euler represented, which is we call z, y, x. This is what we in our course we call Euler angle representation. Why this is so specific? Because in the manipulator we cannot make RPY form, but we can easily make ZY form or ZYX form. Okay, ZYZ is easiest. That is what we are actually like going to use in the manipulator theory. So then what is the other forms? There are other forms. In that, one of the specific form called XYZ, which is we call localized RPY angles. There is no specific name, but this is actually like we call local frame, you call Euler angles, which is we call simple localized RPY. So this localized RPY, even for further people call it this roll. If you are rotating with respect to moved frame or moving frame, this is called band. Okay, so if somebody call band control, it is nothing but roll control, but with a moving, or you can say with respect to moving frame. So similarly, the pitching with respect to localized y-axis frame rotation, what we call attitude. So if somebody is thinking about attitude control, this is nothing but a pitch control. The roll control we people call band control, and with respect to moving frame, with respect to moving frame y-axis rotation we call, you can say, attitude. So then what would be the z-axis, that is we call spinning, or you call heading. Okay, so some people you would have seen in the automobile industry, or you can say ship mobile industry, they say heading control. Heading control in the sense with respect to the moving frame z-axis, whatever rotation that you are trying to control, that is what you call heading control, which is very common when you are talking about automobile. When you are rotating, so you are actually like rotating with respect to the moved frame. Your body frame is keep on moving. With respect to that, you are actually trying to control the head. Okay, so that is what heading control. You are not controlling with respect to the fixed frame. Okay, with respect to you can say fixed frame, you supposed to call yaw control. but we are not doing the yaw control here, we are doing the heading control. So in order to get that little more detail I am giving, you see the fact you have to accept that the order of rotation is definitely important, right? Why it is so? The multiplication of matrices is not commutative or commutative. Why it is so? Because we are representing the rotation in terms of matrices. So when you are doing the order of rotation is different, then your multiplication of matrix also like different, right? So in the sense there are several forms. I already told we have one is with respect to fixed frame, the other one is with respect to moving frame or the body frame. The body frame, whenever you are doing, then you have to actually like post multiply the matrix. Whenever you are doing the fixed frame rotation, then it is actually like pre-multiply. Why it is so? It is something like you are standing here and moving forward, that is what moving frame. So in the sense you are actually like adding the box one by one, whereas you are actually like doing with a fixed frame, in the sense you are actually like always standing here and you are actually like manipulating one by one. So in the sense you have to actually like pre-multiply. This is what the case. So here I am not actually like interested to, you can say, give more detail about the composite rotation. I am interested to give one specific aspect. If you are doing a fixed frame, please assume that, or you can say you consider that it is supposed to be pre-multiply. If you are doing with a moving frame, you are moving ahead, in the sense you have to post multiply. One operation done, then you are doing another operation, in the sense you are taking a foot one by one. That's why we are doing a post multiplication. Whereas the fixed frame, you are doing everything with respect to single frame of reference, in the sense single fixed frame. So that's why you are doing a pre-multiplication. Okay, so that is what we have to get to know. You see some of the common representation I already mentioned. So the global xy z as we call RPY angle, which is we call Winkel angle some cases, because Winkel has given. So then the second one is actually like ZYX Euler angle, which is what we call Cardan-Bryant angle. So the third one, which is we call ZYX Euler angle, or the fourth one is actually like local roll pitch angle. Okay, the local roll pitch angle, what we call band, or you can say bank, or sometime we call attitude, sometime we call spin and heading. Sometime actually we simply call band, but the right term is bank. Okay, so the bank you call attitude, and the spin and heading is the three, you can say, different notation of roll, pitch, yaw for the localized frame. You got it, right? So now we'll move forward. I have given a blank slide here. So what that means, so you can see, so there is a, you can say, fixed frame. I call this is XA cap and YA cap and ZA cap. So now I assume that there is a body which is associated here. Okay, now I am rotating that. What I am doing it, I am rotating about, you can say, x axis, which is I call gamma angle. So now what happened, this is actually like rotated. Okay, so which a gamma angle, and this is rotated as a gamma angle. So this particular axis I am calling actually like y1 cap, and this is I am calling z1 cap. Okay, so now what you got it, a new frame. Okay, I'll just make it, so this is actually like x1, so x1, then y1 and z1. But what you have actually like inherent, so you have actually like ya and xa cap. I am just skipping. Okay, so is it, yeah, I am just skipping hereafter. So you can assume that that is actually like associated with the unit vector. Now what I am actually like doing, this is the first operation. The second operation, I am actually like rotating with respect to this. So this is what I call beta. So now what happened, this x and, you can say, x1, z1 and y1, in the sense the frame 1 is actually like rotated about, you can say, ya axis. So in the sense these all actually like will get changed. So I assume that this is what happening. Okay, so this is I call y2, x2 and z2. Okay, so now you can see that this is actually like another frame. Okay, this is x2, this is z2 and y2, and now what I am bringing it again, I am bringing it, so this xa, ya cap and za cap. So now what I am doing is actually like the third operation is alpha operation, which is I am actually like rotating about this, which is actually like fixed frame. So now what happened to this, so it will actually like get changed. So this is y3 and this is z3 and this is x3. So this y3 what you call yb cap, and this is z3 is actually like your zb cap, and your x3 is your xb cap. So now this is the B frame. Okay. So now what you have done, you have first rotated, you can say about x gamma angle, then you rotated about y beta angle, and rotated about z, you can see this is actually like alpha angle. But what axis you have taken a reference? A frame, right? So in the sense you have done everything with respect to the fixed frame. So in the sense what you have done, the first one is actually like you have done Rx gamma, then second operation is Ry beta, and the third operation what you have done Rz alpha. Okay. So this is what your rotational information of, you can say, B with respect to A. Okay. So this is the stage. So now you got it what is actually like a fixed angle, right? Whereas if it is actually like moving angle, it is straightforward. So you can see that initially I assume that this is you call xa cap, and this is ya cap and za cap, and in order to give address I say this is your xb, and now what I am actually like doing it, I am actually like, you can see this is supposed to be this way, so I am saying this is zb. Now I am rotating about you call z axis, because I am trying to make this. Okay. So now what happened, this is actually like going to rotate like this. So this is x1 and this is y1, and this rotated frame I call z1, in the sense you can see here. So this is what your x1, y1 and z1. So you have done operation, I call this is alpha or phi. Okay, this is actually like phi angle, just to give different notation. You can see now this is happening, right? So now I am taking second case, I am taking this is actually like my fixed reference. So I am rotating this with respect to clockwise rotation. So what, sorry, anti-clockwise rotation. So what happening this way? So this happened to be here. So this is new, and this is actually like the same angle. So z2, right? So now what happened? So you have x2 and sorry, I am really sorry, I have just used y instead of y, I have used x. So I am just correcting. So you can see here, this is what you got actually like y1, and this is your z1, and this is what your x1. So now I am actually like a second case, I am rotating about this. Okay. So the rotation axis you can actually like see. So this is what your axis, and this is the way how it is coming out, that is what you call rotation angle. So now I am saying that this is actually like theta angle. So now what happened, this is actually like getting into this plane. I assume that this is z2, and you can see this is actually like rotated, right? So this way it is actually like getting it. So this is x2. So now this is y2. So now you can see this is x2 and y2 and z2. So now the third rotation about x. So now I am taking x2 as the reference, I am actually trying to rotate. So now what happening, this is actually like going to happen like this. So this is the way rotation, so it is something like this. Okay. So now this is actually like going to rotate. So I just use the different color. So this is z3, and this is actually like y3, and this is x3. So in the sense you can see that this is what your x3 or xb, and this is what you call y3 or yb, and this is what your zb or z3. Okay. So now you can see that the B frame is realized with respect to A in this way. So what we have done, we have first done Rz of, you can say, this angle I call you can see psi. So what we have done, the first one is Rz phi, then Ry theta, and then Rx you call psi. So in the sense here what we have done moving one to another in the progressing stage. So in the sense your rotation matrix supposed to be r is at phi multiply with ry theta multiply with rx psi. So in the sense I am writing in a smaller way. So this is phi r theta r, okay, I'll write here r psi. So this is y and this z and x. So this is what your rotation matrix of B with respect to A. So this is the way like the moving frame, that is the earlier case, it is the way which is the fixed angle. So the similar sense you can actually like do it even z, y, z, or even you can do it as simple localized x, y, z, all those things you can do it. So here the interest is not that. What interest here is actually like if you are doing you can say rotation or you can say the representation you are making with respect to fixed frame, then you have to pre-multiply. If you are doing with you can say moving frame, you have to post-multiply. Even in the post-multiplication or pre-multiplication, what axis you are rotating, about that you can have you can say your own angle representation. Now you can see that the three orientation represented in a complex domain, or you can say complex way, right? Why it is complex? Although the matrix is having a 9 entity which is actually like r11 to r33, but there are only 3 independent variable involved, right? So then you can see that there is a complexity. And further, what approach you are using, for example, I am the user and I am giving a orientation matrix, I supposed to describe this is the way I have actually like represented. It is going to get little more confusion, right? I may use zyx, somebody is using zyz, probably like one another would be using xyz of the moving frame. Then it's all actually like giving a confusion, right? So further what we are actually getting, you can say not benefit, we are getting a confusion. The three orientational information is complex in a you can say a transcendental equation. What that mean? It is actually like in a trigonometry equation, or you can say a cosine way, which is actually like a n house with 9 entity. Although these three you can say these 9 entity would be having 3 independent vector, but the representation is actually like complex. So that's why people have tried to understand, is there any way to bring it further simplification. But in rigid body dynamics we are not simplifying, we are actually like following the Euler angle, that too like zyz is the common angle. For example, the underwater vehicle or aerial vehicle, we are using zyx is the common Euler angle we use. So these are the cases. So in the sense what I wanted to tell here is actually like this is the case. If you talk about compound rotation, so there is one thing, if it is actually like mobile frame, you are rotating about an you can say mobile frame with an angle of you can say theta about the kth unit vector of the fixed frame, then you pre-multiply, okay? Whereas if it is actually like the other way around, you post multiply. That is the major aspect you need to know. So with that I am actually like completing this. So this is the you can say one small lecture on composite rotation. I did not use the you can say proper Beamer diagram because it is actually like not realizable, that's why I just use. And this particular lecture is not intent to explain the compound rotation. The intent is actually like how we can derive the compound rotation and what are the difficulty if you are using a compound rotation. That is what we are interested in this particular lecture, and I hope I have addressed, and we will see if anything required I will make it as a recap or probably a short video on that, okay? With that I am actually like ending here. Thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.